2024 first All Black squad name for the year, guys. Ooh, wowee, and wasn't there some good names in there? The first player that I must mention is Scott Barrett. So, yeah, look, to me, he was kind of inevitable, wasn't he, that he was going to be the All Blacks captain. What's good about him? Well, look, he's become a real international level lock, hasn't he? Look, he's so good at that breakdown, so reliable in the set piece and the lineouts. He's a big man. He's a good athlete. Particularly his ball carrying is really impressive, against the big sides, the England, the South Africans. He still makes a lot of meters and he's hard to stop, which is good, getting over the advantage line. But the other thing I think that goes unnoticed with Scott Barrett is, to me, he strikes me as a real intellect of the game, doesn't he, guys? And he's almost, I go as far as saying he's like a rugby analyst. Like he just sees the game at the next level and is a different sort of view on the game, doesn't he? Which, you have to have as your captain. They have to be smart rugby players. So, guys, let me know your thoughts on him as captain anyway. Wallace Satiti. Yeah, he had a hell of a season, didn't he, in Super Rugby? Very young, so I just wonder, is he a little bit too young for the All Blacks? Maybe he doesn't quite have the bulk of the older players, but look, particularly that final, the Chiefs Blues, he was by far the best forward for the Chiefs, wasn't he, guys? He was outstanding. He just cutting the Blues up the middle. Hell of a player for the future. And it'll be interesting. He may not actually get that much game time this year, but he's certainly a quality footballer, isn't he, guys? Players that were omitted from the team. Look, the first one I've got to say is Hoskins Satudu. Oh, look, what more could the guy have done? I mean, he was a hell of a player this season, wasn't he? He was physical, his work rate, his defense. Guys, let me know your thoughts on what happened with Hoskins. But the only thing that I can really sort of, I'm being critical here, is probably Hoskins' defense, maybe. You saw Razor, he made that mention about how he's selecting players that are good on both sides of the ball, so defense and attack. And just, I mean, maybe at times Hoskins Satutu, maybe he didn't sort of make those big tackles like Finau, big game changing moments. Is that the reason? Have they told him to go and step up his defense and be a bit more physical? It's probably the only thing I can think of, guys. Anyway, look, Duplessis Karifi, he was another pretty tough one, wasn't he? Look, his defense, his work at the breakdown and the Super Rugby comp was absolutely fantastic, wasn't it, guys? The only thing I can think of with him, again being pretty critical, is I just wondered sometimes maybe his ball carries. He's not as big as some of the other loose forwards, but some of his ball carries, he tends to run straight at the defender, doesn't he, guys? Rather than sort of running it at a gap. Yeah, and maybe he'd make more meters in a gap. But tough call. Braden Ossie, look, he's another one. He had a hell of a season, didn't he, guys? He's got some real legs on him, real high work rate, really good at that breakdown. The only thing I can think of that the selectors maybe thought with him was maybe, again, his defense. He's not a hard hitter like Finau, and maybe they've told him to go away and do some work on the defense. Some pretty tough calls, but look, overall, I think it's a pretty attacking, dynamic All Black side. It's going to be a pretty exciting series, isn't it, against the English? The other thing that's quite interesting is it'll be interesting to see Razor's style of play that he wants and thinks best for the All Blacks. You sort of say the players he selected are sort of the good ball skills, haven't they? Genuine athletes, high fitness levels. So it'll be interesting. It's almost like I predict that he's going to want to play a real high tempo, speed of game, attack from anywhere on the field. Yeah, so that'll be interesting, and maybe that's suitable to New Zealand rugby. It's no secret, and I can tell you from my club rugby days, Kiwis love to chuck the ball around, so maybe that suits the New Zealand style. But whether or not that'll cut it at international level, time will tell. But guys, let me know your thoughts on this All Black side. there's plenty of talent there and some tough omissions, but it's an exciting outlook for 2024.